Right, it's took me a bit longer to get round to these, partly because I've just been so busy painting my Bretonians. There's such a long job, unfortunately. So basically, I'm up to build 36, the Boingrot Bounderz, for the Stormbringer. So I do, really look forward to building stuff like this. I find that there's, people will either watch them because they're a difficult build or they won't, but I might as well always do them just because, well, people seem to watch them. Now, a bit complex, these Boingrot Bounderz. I'm not going to deny that. There's a lot of things to do, quite a few options to go through as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by prepping some of what's classed as the interchangeable parts to begin with. Now, they've got, starting off over here by the look of it, if I've got this right, yeah. And we're basically dealing with these, the actual grots themselves, who hang on for dear life. So if you don't really know much about these things, they are completely some of the funnest little cavalry units you're ever likely to come across in any game that I've ever played. And they, they hark back to the Squig herders from Old Hammer, and of course the Squig hoppers from Old Hammer. Now, as you may have seen, I've been doing quite a lot of Old Hammer videos recently because I'm building the Bretonians and I'm building the Khemri army, or have built actually. There's not much left to do on them. Right, let me just check a few things here. So yeah, 8 and 9 go together like that, nice and simple. Anyway, but one of the things that I'm very interested about is the fact that with the Orc and Goblin tribes coming back now, one thing that I've noticed is the Night Goblins have been understated and not really made available. Let me just find the next lung. 13 and 14 it says, so there's 13. I seem to have developed hiccups. Yeah, so here's number 13, and then I've got to find 14 as well. So yeah, basically what's happening is they seem to have not really given much indication about whether or not the Night Goblin is going to be included. Now, because I've not seen the rules yet for the Ravaging Hordes that you can get, I still don't know if the Night Goblins are officially there. I know people have already converted some of their Gloomspiute Gitz ready for Warhammer, but as I suspect, here's number 14 here, the official rules don't probably include Night Goblins yet, just the regular kind of Orcs and Goblins, which kind of makes sense because they don't want two factions being identical across two separate games. The only time that tends to happen is with the demons because, well, it works, when people like them. Okay, let me try and get this guy together. So he's got a... Now, just checking how this arm goes on here. So it seems... It seems to be tucking into this here. So tucking into this part. Yeah, so I think that maybe we will get Night Goblin options in Old Hammer. Whether or not they're currently available, well, I'm curious if they are. My intention is not to jump the gun because I want both the Gloomspiute Gitz. Let me see how that's gone in. And I want Night Goblins. So I'm not rushed jumping the gun here. They're probably not going to use the same models anyway. Based upon what I've seen, there's just a very, very, very good chance that they might just re-release the very old Night Goblin box set. It really is odd arms are put in, isn't it? Definitely goes like pointing downwards. There we go. Yeah, so I think if they do release the Night Goblins again for Old Hammer, they'll use the old boxes that they had years ago. 18 and 19 hits 18. But we don't know because, you know, it's amazing. Sometimes we can predict what Games Workshop might do, but actually reading their minds is a tough one, to be quite blunt. I can't find where I've put my cleaning tools. I'm having to be very gentle with this Stanley knife at the moment, which I don't really like doing. So I think that if you have played Age of Sigmar and you want your Night Goblins back, then go ahead, because, you know, in the end, the basic layout for Night Goblins is just a goblin. So you can use, even if there's no Night Goblin rules yet, you can use goblin rules. But what it means is that potentially, now I'm saying this in a potentially because I don't know, whether or not Squig hoppers and Squig herding teams are available yet. And just to give you an idea of something here as well, the base sizes of these are just too big anyway to easily convert over to Warhammer, unfortunately. Warhammer the Old World. 23 and 24. That one there. Going to assume one of these is a champion of sorts. Yeah, so I'm going to be kind of very curious about what the long-term strategy is. For returning all the Old World. Good thing is I've read the book and I'm quite happy with the rule book so far. Like the way that it's laid out. I can't see any flaws with any of the changes as of yet, but then I've not had a chance to play, so that could all change when I actually sit down and try and have a game. Okay, so there's those four. Now, there is one other to do. I'm just going to look at something, though. Yeah, there is. It's 1, 2, 3, 4... Right, it shows you how to put 4 bodies together. Oddly enough, it doesn't actually show you the last one. Now, it's obvious to me that it's this number 4 here. And as tradition dictates, I would not be surprised. Well, actually, it might simply be because it's that simple. Yeah, it is. I've not read the instructions right, so you don't have to do anything to this one. It's just like this. It suggests to me as well that looking at the armour on that, it's designed for the champion. The Bounder boss. Okay, so that's our little bodies all done. I'm just going to put them to the side for now, and then we need to start putting together the Squig heads. So there's lots of head options, and I think putting every single head option together is just going to be, well, quite a laborious task, but it's dead simple. So take any one of the heads and then make sure that you've got its counterpart, so in this case 36 and 37, and then tidy it up as we should do. Gonna find out where my scraper tool's gone off to. I've lost it in the sea of models that has taken over my workstation. I feel really naughty because I've just kind of gently pushed them out the way, but don't really like the idea of doing that. So let's have a look here. If I actually put that through, 36 and 37. See, I'm all over the place here. It's not 36 and 37. It's 35 and 36. Got myself confused. So many things to do on these, my goodness. So many parts. This is not looking like a fun build now. Much as I love a good squig, this is so many parts. Goodness. So. I try not to edit out my mistakes when I'm doing videos like this. I think it's best to just keep it nice and raw and accept that I've cocked up. So you don't. There we go. Let me end up with these heads. Now, let's see what. So I'm going to assume then that 36. I think no, this is not 36, is it? This is 37. So I'm going to assume it's got a counterpart here. It'd be nice if they put them next to each other, wouldn't it? Now. God, they don't like half being difficult, do they? Come. Let's have a look. Ah, there we go. There's like a 38 there. No. If we're assuming that it does actually attach to 38, based upon the big horn on its head as well, I think it's fair to say that that is the boss's squig. You just tell with the armour on it. Yeah. So I'm going to assume that that is the boss's head. And then I just need 2 more now, so any 2 will do really. No, it's not 2, 3 more. Let's go for 29 and 30. Get it right this time, eh? Like these guys' faces. I love squigs. Anything squiggy is my favourite. Anything like goblinoid orky, you know, I just absolutely love the way they look. There's just something about the way that, I don't know how to describe it other than Games Workshop have always managed to get the designs of the orcs and goblins and orcs and cruel boys and everything else pretty on point all the time. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. I'll get 31 out. Sorry, 32 and then 31. I'm hoping that when the time comes to kind of put all this together, it'll be nice and easy. Definitely a thing that needs a good dry fit, this, before I start gluing these ones, don't they? And then one last one. Yeah, 27 and 28 go together. It's 27 and then 28. Oh, like these jaws, big teeth. I'm glad these jaws are simple to go together. They've got good like attachment points. I was very worried that they'll have like very difficult jaws to actually hold together. There's a few other optional parts, but I'll pull them out as I'm putting them on. Okay, so we got 1 and 3. These are the bodies themselves. Kind of part of my head is now going, I hope there's not going to be issues putting the bodies and the mouths together and they're not going to fall all over the place and break. I need to find my scraper. No idea where I've gone and put it. It's been a pain. Disappearing on me. Right, let's work this out. So, yep, it's simple. Then number 2. Oh gosh. Now, his legs are crazy, they're like really long. But this one seems to be, oh right, I can see it's like a potion whipping up into the air. Which is good because it makes it even higher up, which I like. Right, and then obviously this guy needs to attach to his base. Right, give that a chance to glue. Now the good thing is, because these are interchangeable parts, I should be able to put all of the bodies together. That'll give them time to dry. So if I get 10 and 11 out, and then 12 is its leg point. best way to get things clean, but back of the knife will do at a pinch. Then I should be able to just pop these in. Like so. Right, hopefully I'll actually be done with these soon. I'm just finding them very, I don't know, quite a quick build considering the number of parts. So we've got number 5, 7 and 6 to come out here. So 5, 7 and then 6 over here. And I'm really looking forward to actually using these guys. I'm also looking forward to painting them when I finally get through my pile of so many things to do. I'm prioritising my old world armies at the moment because there's just so many models, and I know if I don't work on them aggressively and totally, they're probably never going to get done. It's just so easy to pop in those things. I'm glad I like these models. They're just such an easy build by comparison of some things. They just seem to go together without much stress to them. Okay, 20, 21 and 22. There's 22. 20 over here. Don't do one. These done nice and fast now, eh? Often the models like this go together with such speed. I think you've probably seen through multiple videos of mine now that when a model has multiple parts, it feels like a never-ending chore to get them done, included sometimes having to split them across multiple videos because each one's taking a good 20 minutes, but these seem to be doing okay. Right, finally we've got 15, 17 and 16, so 16. 15 over here, and then 17. Now I suspect with these that this is going to have to be a multi-part like painting them separate, and I think I'm gonna have to take that approach, otherwise I think painting them is going to be a nightmare. So I shall see as we get closer, but I do tend to do paint my cavalry separate, otherwise you struggle to get things to hold right. Oh, there we go, go it round. Okay, I'm going to give them an opportunity just to settle on the bases, and then I'm going to put together the Bound boss now. So he's got quite a spiky hat over here. Now what I'm really liking the idea of with this as well is there's quite a few head and hats available. So I think they're going to be nice little conversion options in the future, particularly if I get some old Hammer Knight goblins. Okay, 64. Oh, there. Okay, so nose goes that way. His hat, yeah, goes up there like that. Oh, that's a cool helmet. I love that. Now I need to get the body. This one here looks like the right one with the extra armor bits on him. And then we need 66, which is a prodder. There we go. His arm just in the right place. It looks like it's a bit of flexibility how you place it, but that could cause problems if you put it in the wrong place. Okay, now let's get that really meaty head from before, this one. Now we need to get it on a squig. Any old squig will do. Gotta go for that one there, like that one. Then it looks to me like what's supposed to happen. Oop. No, that's not what I wanted. Look, yeah, literally. Oh no, actually it looks like what we can do. So if you look, you can glue it in, and then what you can do later on is you can just kind of slide it in. The only problem is you're going to have to remember that that little bit there is part of the squig. So it's really up to you. And I think unfortunately, as much as I would like to leave these guys off for painting purposes, it feels like that's not really a working option, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to go against my better judgment and attach him, which I didn't really want to do. There we go. Boing. Do you love a good boing? Nah, but it does feel like that's pretty, you know, clear cut. We can add a little bit of a thing here as well. I think there's like a little jaw that can be attached to him. Let me find it. Yeah, this iron gob here. Because if you're the boss, you want to really show that you're the boss to everyone, don't you? It looks like this gob kind of nestles in here, like that. Again, you may prefer to leave that off, paint it separate. I'll just put it on because I think I can work around it. Right, there's our boss. Now, fingers crossed, this next part is going to be dead easy to deal with. So, what I'm going to do is we're just basically going to be able to grab hold of any heads we want. I'm just having a check. Now, this... I've made a mistake. You see, this is why you shouldn't rush things. You know what I've done? I forgot to put his tongue in. Look, I got these tongues. I don't know why, but I was having a look and it didn't. Yeah, I thought the instructions was basically saying, you know, glue it, but what it's basically saying is don't glue it yet. So what I need to do is I need to put his tongue in here, like that. Which again is going to be no fun to glue, is it? To paint if it's all together in advance. There we go. Okay, let me get these tongues out and ready. All of these lovely tongues. Bleh. Ouch. Right then, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put all these, so I need to maybe put the heads on first. So I'm going to grab number 60 because I like the look of this head. It's got a nice sharp nose on it. and start attaching the heads. Should just nice and comfortably kind of pop in to each one. And as I said, there's no like rule about which head you need to use. One thing I'm happy with how many heads there are, because the spare heads are always great if you ever want to do some converting on other miniatures. Yeah, I'm going to go for the metal heads. Metal heads. Just rather than the cloak heads, although, because I think if you're trying to do a unit, try and get them all to look similar. Here we go. And now our next little thing is to give them all prodders. So as you can see, there are kind of two types of options as well. You can go with the hand weapons, but I think with these you should use the prodders. And yeah, this is exactly the right amount of prodders. Now, I think one of the things about these kind of prodders going on, let's see. Got to think about which way the actual goblin's facing as well on the squig, so that they don't kind of interfere. If I just show you now, let's get one of these guys on his actual squig. So if I pop him on here just like this, let's try and get him on. Oh, come on. His spares fell off. Stop being difficult. You just got to think about where he's gonna be facing, where the head's gonna go. And I think this is probably going to be one of the more difficult parts of trying to keep everything together while I'm putting it all on. Okay, so let's get a mouth. Just pop that in. Yep. Being very clumsy today, my fingers are really acting up. I'm afraid that I'm having one of my bad days for the health. Everything's aching. There we go. So that's it. Yeah, and you can see you've got to make sure that the prodder is away. Now I don't think it's going to cause many problems anyway, but just being mindful. fact, what I might do on this one is I'll do it from a different approach. So instead of putting the prodder on to begin with, I'll get the head and the mouth all glued in. Oh, upside down, that doesn't help. Get the actual guy. Pop him in. Pip him under Squig, and then I'll glue the arm, and that's had a chance to rest. That probably makes more sense. So it falls over. So I'll do that again. So tongue, goblin, yeah, that definitely seems a far better approach. Yeah, that definitely works better, I think, trying to do it like that instead of trying to put the arm on straight away. And then I'll just tidy these up and then I'll pop them on. Okay, get in there. Right, let's try and get these all on now without any disasters. So, pop. Don't fall. That's what I hate about like these kind of sticky out parts. They can slip and slide and fall off. There we go. Yeah, that'll do. Should I angle it a bit more? There we go. Right. Okay, what awesome models. I absolutely love these guys, by the way. Of course I love them. They're goblins on Squigs. There is nothing that I can't like about them. There we go. Anyway, so that's that video done. There's still quite a lot of other options on these, which is quite cool. Anyway, so please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.